with this video, we're back on the road again. This time we're driving from Long Island, New York to Oakville, Toronto. Come join us on this beautiful ride as we're gonna show you around and also take you back down the memory lane of all our travels through 2023. Let's go.
It is 10 after 6.
Follow signs for I-95 South. Welcome to New Jersey.
Okay, so we just passed by Arrow Island. That side is Pennsylvania, if I'm reading this correctly. That's the Delaware River in there. And this side is New Jersey. What an amazing way to enjoy early morning looking at the Delaware River.
Welcome to Pennsylvania.
Welcome to Pennsylvania. The kids are up now. They're playing with, again, Rubik's Cube. Ali and I are chit-chatting. We may be taking out some snacks. It's an amazing, beautiful ride as long as you can avoid heavy traffic. And our method of avoiding heavy traffic is very simple. Leave early. At 4-hour mark from Ontario, and we have just entered the Finger Lakes region. We had gotten again Rubik's Cube. I completely shuffled it. Within 2 minutes, he solved it.
Also, he had another 3x3 on the cruise ship. He solved it.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
I think it's time we try and do a quiz.
Okay,
And
I like that.
we have traveled so much past few years that it all gets mixed up very easily. So it may seem like we know everything that we have done, but a lot of times we forget. So it would be a nice time to just reflect and think about all those moments again.
Plus, it's a little bit of self-promotion here, so you guys can go and check out some of the videos that we're going to mention here. Let's start off from January 1st of 2023. What were we doing?
We were on the same road trip to Canada, and January 1st was our return.
Yes.
Drive back to New York.
We exactly on January 1st, we were probably on this highway. Who knows? We were probably on this road, same road, because at this time we were driving back to New York. So that was the first trip. What was the second trip?
Second trip was back again to Toronto, Canada, but that was a flight on Flair that we tried first time, and we were pleasantly surprised.
So Canada's low-cost carrier Flair, we spotted that 5-6 years ago when we were on our way to Hong Kong, and it had a black nose on top. I'll put a picture here. Since then, I was fixated on trying Flair, and we actually posted a couple of videos on Flair. Trip number 3, what was that?
That was a trip to Lisbon.
Yes, we spent 9 days in Lisbon. Isa said for his birthday.
Yes.
In that Lisbon trip, we took TAP Airlines. We also tried EasyJet when we flew to Madeira and back within 1 day. There were quite a few adventures in that trip, including the Madeira's famous Wicker basket ride, where you go 30-40 miles
Such
an
a good
hour
memory.
down the hill in Madeira. Plus, we visited very, very nice museums, including the Tram Museum, the Coach Museum, which was our favorite. We ate patés de nata, which is this Portuguese pastry, egg pastry.
Yeah, we went to Pena Palace.
Oh, we went to Pena Palace. We stayed at Hyatt
We
Regency.
visited Cristo Rey.
We visited Cristo Rey. So tons of activities. Make sure you check out our Lisbon series from last year, 2023. So let's move on. Next trip after Lisbon was
Ecuador.
Ecuador on Avianca Airlines. We went to Ecuador for 4 days and went to some of the best, most amazing places, including middle of the world, the Equator, where you can do some science experiments. We also watched.
Absolutely loved that trip, and I
Yeah.
cannot believe, as you mentioned, that it was only 4 days, and we experienced and saw so much incredible things.
We experienced nothing but really nice people, amazing potato chips. We also visited
The Intinyan Museum.
Intinyan Museum, and we went to the President's Palace where they were doing a change of guards and this whole ceremony with the backdrop of protests happening behind us, but they were peaceful protests.
And
So-
not to forget the teleferico up to Pichincha Mountains.
Oh, I forgot
and
that. The kids actually
Unbelievable experience.
Yeah, the kids actually hugged a llama on volcano Pichincha. It was almost 14,000 feet. They also have a swing in the sky, which is pretty unique and special. So after Ecuador, that was the start of our Frontier Airlines adventures. We actually ended up booking 7 flights on Frontier.
They were all great deals, and when we realized we had so many trips booked on Frontier, it was a good decision for us to go for Frontier's credit card, which actually helped us getting more benefits out of our flights.
Yeah, always get assigned seats, always get priority boarding. We are not the typical get your credit card type of family. We don't get credit cards.
At all.
Yeah, I do watch Kara and Nate. I know Nate is a huge YouTuber who talks about miles and points.
If you're smart with it, sure, that's a great idea. But I don't think we are cut out for it.
Let's go through our Frontier Airlines trip. We actually started our adventures by revisiting KeyWest. We flew to Fort Lauderdale and drove to KeyWest and posted a number of videos, including our stay in Hyatt Residence Club, Windward Point in Key West, which was an
really memorable,
amazing hotel resort right next to the Key West airport. We like plane spotting, so that was our journey. After Key West, do you remember the trip?
I'm thinking. 2nd of July, we had the cruise.
Right, we took a cruise on MSC Meraviglia, posted a whole bunch of videos on it. We ended up really liking that cruise because it's great value, even though there were some things that we pointed out as watch outs like boarding time and stuff,
which is every ship or every vacation. You can say there are some points that you're not so happy with, and it's not that we're complaining about it, but we try to mention them so if somebody wants to do the same experience, they know what they're going in for.
Yeah. MSC Meraviglia, what were the islands that we visited in MSC Meraviglia?
So we went to Bahamas, Nassau, Bahamas.
We went
to Orlando.
And then the private island of MSC, Marine Cay, or Marine Key, which is a debate online. By the way, we just are approaching the town of Bath. If anybody watches this video from the town of Bath, please comment. It sounds so interesting. For some reason, I just picture bathtubs, and I wonder what the history of the name Bath is. We are at a 3-hour and 12-minute mark, 190 miles left. We have enough gas and battery to take us there. Okay, Alia, every year we have been camping in Long Island, but this year's camping was a little unique because we got hit by a surprise thunderstorm. Our tent leaked. We had to dry all of our equipment the very next morning. There's a full video on both our packing, a full day on the campsite, and then the storm. So make sure you go check that out. If you like camping, I highly recommend camping on Long Island, whether it's Wildwood or Hither Hills or where we camp now for the past couple of years, Heckscher State Park. Now, after the camping trip, we started the States tour. The next one was our flight from New York LaGuardia to Atlanta, and then we drove from Atlanta, Georgia to Birmingham, Alabama. We actually stayed on the outskirts of Birmingham, and we stayed in the Winfrey Hyatt Regency, which was connected to a mall. The memorable part about that trip was the visit to Barber Museum, which is the largest motorcycle collection in the world. And with the Porsche racetrack, an extraordinary museum in the middle of Alabama. So make sure you go check out that video, or better yet, book your flight to Alabama and go visit the Barber Museum and racetrack. It's a fascinating museum. After Alabama, okay, Isa knows the next one. What's the next one?
I think we went to like Oklahoma.
Perfect. We took another Frontier flight just a couple of weeks later. We flew to Dallas, Texas. We stayed in Hyatt Regency at Dallas DFW airport, and then we drove to Oklahoma. There was a huge casino. We saw
replicas of Big Ben and
Guggenheim Museum. Another cool thing on that drive was us finding probably the best veggie burger at a very tiny place called Tucker's. While we were in Oklahoma City, we actually went to a fascinating museum. It's the 45th Infantry Museum in Oklahoma City. A huge amount of guns, a bunch of tanks, the Jeep Willys, but what stood out in that museum was definitely the folks who volunteer there. They were super nice to His and Isa. One even let both of them sit in a real Jeep Willy from World War II. After Oklahoma, we did something pretty cool, and maybe the first for this family.
that was, I think we have reached September. It was Amtrak.
We took our very first Amtrak train ride in their economy seats, 17 or 19, I forgot, hour journey from Penn Station, Moynihan Station in New York City to Chicago. That was incredible.
Loved that ride to bits, and still to this day we miss it. We talk about it, and we can't wait to do another train ride. It was so comfortable, so scenic, so much fun, and 19 hours did not feel like. We were actually pretty bummed out that during the night we all naturally, obviously, fell asleep, and when we woke up, the ride was almost over. It was almost 2-3 hours left.
My favorite part was your home-cooked biryani, and at close to like around 10 or 11 o'clock at night, we went to the cafe car, sat down, ate Alia's biryani, played games. That was the moment.
One of the favorite trips of the year.
And of course, our journey in Chicago was a walking tour of Chicago. There was a marathon happening, so we were very restricted on what we could show you. There's a very small episode, so make sure you go check that out. And then we took a flight on Frontier from Chicago to Philadelphia. From Philadelphia, we rented a car, went to our favorite Philly cheesesteak place called Saad's. It's a halal Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia, and then from there we drove back to New York in that car rental. That was our first EV experience, where we only spent $16 for the whole car ride from Philadelphia to Long Island, New York. Hence, now we own a hybrid. We are now under 3 hours, so 2 hours and 55 minutes. We have been sitting in this car for 5 hours now at this point. Okay, let's continue our travel. So what did we do in November?
So in November, I think we flew to Indianapolis.
Yes, our first time in Indiana. That was, I forgot our state number.
23.
Number 23. And do you remember anything from Indianapolis?
Oh, our favorite zoo experience.
Yes, the Indianapolis Zoo. And that was Alia's pick. So a lot of the times, Alia's working on a lot of the logistics behind the scene, packing, making sure the family's good, kids are good, I'm good. I'm always working on behind the camera, trying to record things. And then she and I both coordinate on what are we doing, where are we visiting. But it's rare that Alia will say, let's go to a place. And in this one, I'm so glad she did, because she picked an amazing itinerary. We went to Indianapolis Zoo, and that's the first time in our lives we got inches away from a tiger. And
we got to touch a shark.
We touched a shark and a stingray. Isa remembered the stingray. And Chris, you remember touching the shark?
Yeah, that was actually really nice.
Yeah.
It's so silly. Can you like put my perfect picture with the
Yes.
tiger?
Yeah, his took this perfect selfie with the tiger. Now the tiger was behind a glass. When we visited the wildlife reserve in Alaska a year and a half ago, there was no glass. We were literally behind a fence, and you can actually walk with the brown bears. Cool thing with the glass was that the tiger came right up to the glass, and you can really look into the tiger's eye. And trust me, it gave us a shiver. And not only us, but anybody who was there. That was an amazing experience. That was an action-packed trip from Indianapolis. We actually did a day trip to our 24th state, Dayton, Ohio. And what did we visit in Dayton?
Oh, we visited world's largest aviation military museum.
A military aviation museum with rocket missiles,
Presidential aircrafts.
Air Force Ones that you can go inside of, Blackbird. That museum, another fascinating museum. Whether you like aviation or not, the history in that museum, to walk in airplanes that were used by President Roosevelt, is just so amazing. After Dayton, we did an international trip. We visited 2 countries. Alia, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Of course, one of my favorite trips of the whole year was our trip to Pakistan.
We used Emirates airline, and Emirates does a technical stop. Going there, we stopped in Milan. Coming back, we stopped in Athens. Slightly less than 24-hour layover in Dubai, where we stayed in a hotel. We went to Dubai Mall. We looked at the laser show at Burj Khalifa. We drove around. Alia used to live in Dubai, so we actually went to her old apartment. It was a very memorable trip. But Pakistan, oh my God, the food in Pakistan, we tried the traditional breakfast of puri halwa. It was hands down the best puri chana I've ever had in my life. The restaurant itself was really neat. What stood out to me was my motorcycle ride, sitting behind your brother.
Yeah.
And zooming past traffic. It was amazing. We also went to a buffet. We posted a short on that. And then we went to Minar Pakistan, which is the Tower of Pakistan. We also visited Sheesh Mahal, which is the
Lahore Fort, which is inside Lahore Fort.
Amazing people all around us, plus family. So it was such a memorable trip to Pakistan. It was my first time back after more than 30 years for me. So it was an incredible thing to do, experience Pakistan. You guys can come join us on that journey. If you have not checked out Pakistan, it's an incredible country to visit. So now at the end of our Pakistan trip, we only had 2 weeks to get ready to go on Carnival Celebration, which is one of Carnival's newest ships. It came out in 2022. On Carnival Celebration, Alia, what were the 3 islands we visited?
First, we went to Dominican Republic.
Amber Cove.
in Dominican Republic.
Yep.
The second port was San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Yeah. In San Juan, we visited
Castillo del Morro.
Castillo del Morro. Because we only had an hour and a half left, and Alia said, no, we gotta do it. So we made our way in, and an hour and a half was not enough. We could have easily spent 3-4 hours. Check out that video. It's an incredible museum because the views of San Juan are incredible from that site.
Going in, we knew we don't have enough time. We always love spending a lot of time in places like that, but because the prices were so reasonable, we decided to go in, and whatever we can take in from that beautiful historical piece, we will take it. Amazing experience that we would highly recommend to anybody who's stopping over in San Juan. The third port was St. Thomas. And what do I say about it? I mean, we've been to that port many times. Every time you dock there, every time we take the cable car up to the Paradise Point, it's equally as amazing as ever. And this time again, we loved it. We loved walking around their downtown and back to the ship.
Yeah, St. Thomas is definitely one of our favorite ports. On our channel, what we try to do is post videos of our travels around the world. So majority of the time, they're reviews of hotels, airports, flights, cruises, car rides, and anything in between. So whatever we do, visiting museums, walking around cities, or sometimes going to restaurants, you're gonna find travel related videos, and majority of the time it's really about Alia, myself, Khiz and Isa exploring the world. Have never done a road crossing into Canada, this is what the Peace Bridge crossing looks like. Here's the view,
straight to stay on.
and once you cross this river,
Welcome to Canada.
welcome to
In a quarter
Canada.
mile, continue straight.
Toll booth and immigration coming up next. There are not many cars, just 2 cars on each of those. Yeah, 2 to 3 cars. That's it. To Ontario!
Woohoo!
Alright, we are at 1 hour mark to our destination. I think at this moment, Alia, we're gonna say goodbye. Hope you enjoyed our quick memory lane of 2023 travel. Check out some of our other videos. Subscribe if you haven't. And until next time,
We'll catch you guys in the next one.
catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.
Am I recording this? If I was just holding the camera and not recording, that would be weird, wouldn't it? Right. What are the kids doing?
Playing with Rubik's Cubes.
Rubik's Cube, and Khiz, are you checking out your GAN? I can't believe you solved that GAN.
I solved it twice already.
Yeah.
1 week, twice.
Yeah,
Which is pretty impressive to me because I've never solved it before.
that's awesome. Since we're straightforward, are we bringing any gifts, any food? They did ask one question that we have never gotten before. I'm going to point the camera in that direction so you guys can see. It was that case. They asked what it was,
It's my trombone.
and it was Khizer's
The trombone. Because
trombone.
It's grade now.
and the
Kind of
kids
grade.
answered that. So